You're listening to Trax FM's podcast. If you've enjoyed our content, more podcasts are available on the RTM Click app and website. Let us know what you think. Please email us at traxfm.rtm@gmail.com. Like and follow us on social media at Trax FM Official.
Hello, good morning and welcome to Trax. Currently with me, my name is KG and this is Face to Face. And in the studio today, we have Dr. Jamaluddin bin Aziz, who is an Associate Professor in Critical Media Studies, Universiti Kebangsaan, Malaysia. We're talking about Mention 2023. Welcome to the studio, Doctor. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you so much. And we shall start off with, could you tell us more about the Mention 2023 conference? What is it all about?
Oh, okay. This is a huge question, but okay, I would like to just start by saying thank you for having me, and I'm here to talk about the conference anyway. First of all, Media Communication Media Communication Conference 2023. This is the 18th conference, international conference. We call it a biennial international conference. We have it every 2 years, and for this year we have a different theme. And we have our own focus for this year, but it happens every 2 years. Yeah, and basically we invite speakers, and we also have participants from other parts of the world, as mainly academicians, students, and media practitioners as well, and other stakeholders if they're interested. Yeah.
And you said a theme, right? So what does Mention 2023 focus on? What is what is it all about? Like, what do you guys do throughout the Mention 2003 conference? Okay,
the theme for this year's conference is transformation in media and communication in the era of VUCA, V-U-C-A. It stands for something. I think you will ask me that question later.
Yes, in a bit.
Yeah. So basically, this conference, usually we will have people presenting papers, and we have industry sharing ideas, new ideas, and new issues in the media itself. But basically, we are unpacking issues related to media landscape, particularly in Malaysia. Yeah, so it's quite intellectual pursuit, but because we have industry people coming as well, so it will resonate with people in the industry as well.
And you mentioned VUCA, right? So what does does VUCA stand for? Maybe you could elaborate on that.
Okay, it's an acronym for the word. The letter V stands for volatility.
Volatility.
Yeah, and U for uncertainty, and C for complexity, and A for ambiguity. So basically, each word stands for something. But basically, we are talking about the era, especially this is quite relevant to post-COVID era, in which our media landscape and the world itself has been destabilized by COVID-19. So this is a very apt theme from media and communication perspective. Yeah.
And why was it selected as a conference theme this year, VUCA?
One of the reasons why we chose that particular topic, because I think it helps us to deal with the environment, especially media landscape that we have now. The sense that we are experiencing volatility, uncertainty, ambiguity, especially what's happening now, politically speaking, economically speaking, and even socially speaking. So basically, it captures the essence of the era, So we would like to unpack intellectually, and we would like to hear from the industry people, about the experience that they have. So basically, theory meets practice, So I think this is also the aim of the conference, which is to bring scholars and practitioners together to kind of weigh on issues and see how we can help each other, how we can synergize in terms of working together, helping, because we theorize, academics usually theorize, we look at patterns and, behaviors and whatnot. And those are the kind of things that we share with the industry. And the industry will come with their own experience, and they would either affirm what we have or they would challenge. And I think a conference like this should be a platform in which new idea can come about through discussion, academic discourse, and also us challenging each other. I think that's very important.
Yes, I think the word discourse is the best use because sometimes experience, they change over time, right? But then once we have people of the same peers, our peers, we discuss with them exactly what is going on. We tend to get a lot of different perspectives on the same issues.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think this is a amazing thing to be doing, especially at UKM, right?
Yeah. I think so as well. I believe in it. Yeah, we believe in it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And Doctor, what we're going to do right now is we're going to be taking a very short break. We're going to be listening to a song, and once we come back, there is more to talk about VUCA as well as mentioned 2023. So you guys are listening to Trax FM. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Tune in to Face on Trax Momentum. Face to Face, every Thursday at 11:15 a.m. Face to Face, Face to Face, Face to Face, Thursday at 11:15 a.m.
Welcome back. You're listening to Trax. This is Face to Face, of course, as you heard. And our guest in the studio today is Dr. Jamaluddin bin Aziz, who's an associate professor in critical media studies, Universiti Kebangsaan, Malaysia. We are talking about Mention 2023. Now, Doctor, how would you relate the current media landscape in Malaysia to the theme of the conference, which is VUCA?
As I said earlier, this theme for us is very apt in describing what's happening, especially in media landscape, in our own media landscape. If you think what's happening in terms of the invention of technology, the advancement in communication technology, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about what effects it has on not only the users, but also on us, because when you talk about media, you talk about the production, the dissemination of information and the consumption of the information itself. So we are talking about the whole landscape from the three aspects, for example. So VUCA is very important because it allows us to unpack issues, the struggles that the industry is facing. For example, with the invention of communication technology, we believe that it affects the employment, and because, for example, artificial intelligence is actually taking over some of the jobs of the people in the media industry. And we have seen how artificial intelligence like ChatGPT has, produced news for the, for the reporters. So in that sense, we need to talk about it. We need to bring these issues to the fore and discuss what we can do as academicians with the practitioners, and see how we can come up with a solution, with an alternative to how we deal with the changes that's happening in the media industry. And as we know, change is the only constant in life.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, we have to deal with the constant changes, and we have to embrace those changes, and we have to be very creative and critical in terms of how we actually accept it so that we can plan for the future.
Absolutely, because as you said, change is the only constant. And the thing is, in terms of changes, right, let's look within the last 5 years itself. Media has now propagated because there is your mainstream media, there is your social media,
exactly.
And then there's also that left stream or the media that does not agree with with what we understand as media. There's so many different options right now. So will you be highlighting all of these single different aspects of it during Mention 2023?
Exactly. If you think about the idea of uncertainty, part of the VUCA is uncertainty. We are very uncertain about so many things.
Yes.
And we talk about ambiguity. That is the kind of thing that you are talking about. We are not sure whether you are the left, you are the right, whether you're social media, you are the mainstream media, whether it's fake news or news.
Or just netizens coming up with news.
Exactly. So that's basically what we bring to the table, because we need to kind of unpack issues like, what does it mean to be citizen journalism? And what would that be, in terms of ethics for them, and how do we not control, but how do we curb, the spread of fake news? For example, these are, in a way, encapsulates the idea of VUCA itself, the volatility of it. We don't know the economy, one day we have a strong economy. The next day, we don't have that strong economy at all. So what will happen to the employment, to the people who are practicing in the media itself, uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And of course, with the advancement of technology and knowledge itself, with the big data, data mining in the communication industry now, we can kind of predict what's going to happen, So we need to bring different intellectuals from different areas of communication to come together to convene and talk about them, and the idea of ambiguity is central to what we are talking about. And because of this, the idea that was easy for us to understand, like, for example, news. It was easy to understand what news was before, but because of the post-truth era, we think, wow, how do you define news now? What makes good news and what makes news? That's the reason why it's very, very ambiguous. The world that we live in is really ambiguous, very uncertain. But it's not our effort to actually make it certain, because it's part of the ecosystem, part of the process.
That is the ecosystem now.
But this is about understanding what's going on so that we can learn and predict about the future, especially for the industry itself.
Yep. And as media practitioners, we need to in a sense, be able to have that foresight to see what is coming next. Because we report, we are also on the receiving side as well. So, wow, this is a very, very apt conference. I think we need to go there as well. Yeah. And maybe you could just highlight some of the topics that you might be unpacking at the conference.
Actually, for this conference, we have a few keynote speakers as well. For example, we have a guest from keynote speaker. The first one is Professor Dr. Bridget Welsh. She's from Nottingham University, Malaysia. And I think her area is election, media and election. So she'll be looking at lessons to be learned from election in Southeast Asia. And we also have a panel discussion, and I'll be moderating that panel discussion, in which we have Datuk Suhaimi Sulaiman, our adjunct professor as well. And we have one professor from America who is our Fulbright scholar, Prof. William, and also somebody from Puan Sarina, if I'm not mistaken, and she's from Bernama. And they'll be talking about chaos and credibility in the media industry itself, so it's very much about that. And we have somebody, I think Miss Chini Yoon, representing Google, and she'll be online. That's the only online part in the conference, because she's in Singapore. She's representing Google, and she'll be talking about building a resilient and healthy online world. So I think that's very interesting. And we have one speaker from Indonesia, and he is Dr. Ari Kinanjar Agustian. I think it's very difficult to pronounce. And he will be talking about realization of back to basic of human technology and communication technology in facing VUCA. I myself will be presenting a paper as well, so do some of my friends. But basically, we are looking at different aspects of issue that can be unpacked using VUCA as the key thematic concerns of our discussion. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. And what would you say would be the highlights? If you have already spoken about it, or would you like to say some more?
Well, the highlight will be the keynotes. But for me, the highlights have always been about the presenters. We have presenters from China, Indonesia, quite a lot of Indonesian presenters this time around. And we also have somebody from a presenter from India, and if I'm not mistaken, Sri Lanka. So it's quite an international community coming together. But if you think about the highlight, for me, it's always about the individual rooms in which they present their own papers. Of course, these keynote addresses are very, very important, but I'm always the kind of person who enjoys listening to the nuances in the research itself. So it will be very interesting, and it's for me. Please come. We still open for participants, not presenters. Participants, you can walk in and register and pay a bit of fee, which is very minimum, because we provide food for registered participants. So if you come, you can listen to all the nuances in the research that people are presenting. But of course, I would say the keynotes addresses are the highlights of the conference itself. I think that is kind of a standard answer, but my personal answer would be the nuances that we get from
a much more private and cozy setting.
Exactly, yeah. More intimate conversation happening in that breakup rooms, yeah.
Rather than a presentation, it's more of a conversation.
Exactly, yeah, that's true.
And Doctor, maybe you would like to just highlight again when and where it's happening.
Okay, our conference will be held from the 14th to the 16th of this month.
All right.
We'll be at the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, Universiti Kebangsaan, Malaysia. And we are very, very lucky because we have co-sponsors for the conference. One is UKM Shape, which is the private wing of UKM, and also Google itself. So they are they are our partners, partner in crime, so to speak. Yeah.
Okay, Doctor, what we're going to do is we're going to be taking another very short break. And once we come back, there's more to speak about Mention 2023. We are currently speaking to Dr. Jamaluddin bin Aziz, Associate Professor in Critical Media Studies, UKM. We will be right back after.
Tune in to Face on Tracks Momentum. Face to face. Every Thursday at 11:15 a.m. Face to face. Thursday at 11:15 a.m.
Welcome back, and we're on Face to Face. We are talking to Dr. Jamaluddin bin Aziz, Associate Professor in Critical Media Studies at UKM. We're speaking about Mention 2023. And of course, from Mention 2023, there should be a hope and outcome that you're looking for. What would that be, Doctor?
Of course, and any conference, you would like to end with a resolution. And that resolution would hopefully affect the policy. Of course, we don't have the power to push the resolution, but at least we as scholars would come up with a certain idea about how the media industry should go forward. I think that's ultimately what all academic conference intend to achieve at the end of the day. And we intend to achieve that resolution in terms, even though it's quite, strange talking about resolution when you talk about VUCA itself because of the sense of everything's ruptured, destabilized. But we tend to we as academicians would like to have that idea that there is a solution to the problem so that we can think about the future.
A sort of control even in all of the chaos.
Yeah, I think it's kind of arranged chaos, like you still manage to see through that chaotic moment, because essentially at the end of the day, we as human beings, we want to have a sense of solace, a sense of comfort in what we do, and we would like to kind of deliver that message to the industry as well. If we work together, we embrace changes, we will be able to help each other, basically. Yeah.
Very well said. And as for our media industry, what would your hope be for our media industry, the Malaysian media at whole?
I think my interest and my hope for the media industry has always been, I hope they are very kind to the industry players themselves, because I think we hear a lot of struggles happening within the players. Like for example, you working here, there is a sense of uncertainty in terms of what happens if technology takes over. So I hope the industry itself will be kinder to the people who are actually living in the industry, making the industry work, by predicting what will happen. They will start to be able to come up with a plan to, for example, how to retool the industry players. And I because I work with a lot of industry players, my interest in film, for example, I do a lot of work, research in films, and I see the struggles that the filmmakers as well as those people who work behind the screen, If we talk about it more, hopefully, they will be heard, because most of them, they don't have that voice. And my hope is the industry is more kind to their own people who are working to support the industry, who actually make the industry what it is, and be transparent about what's going on. And they need to be told what's going on and the changes. And these people, these workers in the industry should be trained and retrained, and the opportunity, the budget should be there as well to help them, change with the time, especially the technology, as we agree, that is changing all the time. So just be kind to the industry players themselves.
Absolutely. I think that word is very, very important. Be kind.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And is there anything else that you would like to add for our listeners, Doctor?
Yeah, for me, please understand that we in media and communication, especially we are researching on media communication, we hope we also get the cooperation from government agencies, the industry players. When we want to do research, sometimes we do get refusal from, certain parties to help us to understand what's going on. Because for us, at the end of the day, we have the responsibility as academics, as the thinkers for the country, to understand the phenomena, to make sense of what's going on. Because sometimes, I'm not belittling the industry players, but some of them, because they work so hard, thinking is a luxury. They just have to go and work and earn money because payment is not a lot,
Yeah.
But we have the luxury and the privilege to actually think for the industries. But we hope that the agencies, relevant agencies, and also people in the industries themselves to be more open to us academics, researchers, so that we can help to make sense of the world that we live in, especially from the perspective of media and communication. We need to understand how we have been communicating, what we have been communicating, and what effect that communication has on the people, whether locally or at the international level. So basically, it's very important for people to understand that we, from media and communication, we are trying to make sense of what's going on despite, the changes, the constant changes. We try to make sense of it, because if we are able to make sense of it through our theories, our research, hopefully we can help the industry to make sense of what it is as well and what it has to go through. I think that's very important.
Yes, absolutely. What it has to go through now, that is the question, right?
Yes.
What is the next 5 years? The last 5 years have been so unique. I don't think media in Malaysia has gone through something like that. 2 years of complete lockdown,
Exactly.
3 years of economic downturn, wars. It is a very unique year. So let's see what the next 5 years will have for us.
Yeah. If I might add, when you talk about VUCA itself, it's almost like dystopian, right? You're talking about ambiguity and whatnot. But we believe that in every challenge, there's an opportunity to understand.
Yes.
That's why we choose VUCA, because we know within that side of ideological conflicts, for example, there are some things that we can learn and make sense of. I think that's very important.
Absolutely. Very well said, Doctor. An absolute pleasure talking to you today.
Likewise.
And hoping that mentioned 2023, soars higher and higher every year. And with that, I think it's about time that I said thank you. Thank you so much for coming in today, for taking time out of your busy schedule. You still have a very big conference to go and handle after this. And wishing you all the best with that, Doctor.
Thank you very much. I have to thank you as well for having us, for giving us a time to talk about our conference. It's Biennial International Conference.
Absolutely, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
All right. See you soon.
Thank you.
And that was Dr. Jamaluddin bin Aziz, Associate Professor in Critical Media Studies, Universiti Kebangsaan, Malaysia. We spoke about Mention 2023. This is an amazing conference. If you have the time, if you would like to be a participant, please do go find out how to do that, all right? Right now, it is back to the music on Tracks. I'll be back in the next hour. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to Trax FM's podcast. If you've enjoyed our content, more podcasts are available on the RTM Click app and website. Let us know what you think. Please email us at traxfm.rtm@gmail.com. Like and follow us on social media at Trax FM Official.